Alright, what's going on, guys? Back with another voiceover. So today I had a upper body workout. I'm on a new split. It's a 6-week microcycle. So it's just upper lower split. Uh, so yeah, I did squat and deadlift yesterday. And I'm benching today. So here's my first set with 95 pounds, and I did 10 reps. And I'm really focusing on trying to keep my legs at 90 degrees. And I find I get better leg drive when I do that, opposed to trying to get like my heels back as far as possible. And this also relieves my lower back pain. So yeah, and I'm also focusing on rounding my thoracic spine, which is your upper back. So essentially, it's like sitting on top of your traps and not trying to over tuck, but kind of hard for me. So yeah. All right, so here's my second set of bench. As you could see when I walked up, I had a lot of chalk on my back. Typically, commercial gyms don't have good grip, so by putting chalk and the bands on the bench, it helps you set up a little bit better. And I'm extending my grip out an extra finger, so max grip width if I were to compete, which is index finger on the ring, and this is working out for me. And the goal in powerlifting is least range of motion as possible, so that's why I'm doing this, like, along with rounding my thoracic spine. And it feels really good right now, so yeah, I'm just going to keep this up as much as I can. So I think this is 125 pounds for my second set of 10. And yeah, it wasn't that bad. I barely ate yesterday, so I'm kind of surprised how good this workout went. Alright, so I'm just going to be giving tips of what I do personally for bench for the rest of this video and for all the other exercises. So here, I'm trying to push my butt as close to my shoulder blades as possible, and that's going to allow me to round my thoracic spine pretty well. So like I said earlier, sitting on top of your traps. Take my grip, really dig my hands into the bar as deep as possible. Take my time placing my feet, push my hips up when I unrack. And when you unrack, if you don't have like a spotter, you want to focus on not pushing the bar up, but more just like trying to get it out as much as possible. So you could even be scraping the pins because you don't want to lose your scapular retraction. So this was my third set of bench, and it was 140 for a set of 8, eight, I think. Alright, so fourth set, this was very hard, but I was able to execute it with minimal form breakdown, except for like the last rep. It was 145 for a set of 6, and I want to touch on scapular retraction, because that's what I mentioned in the last clip. Oh yeah, my bench wrap came off. My wrist wrap came off. That was annoying. But even if you're not a power lifter, you still want your scapula retracted, and all of that means is basically picking your shoulders up, down, or up, back, and down, so it's retracted and depressed. What that's gonna do is keep your shoulders like in a healthy position. So, because when you look at my shoulder joint from this angle, you can see it's below my chest, right? So if my scapula wasn't retracted, my shoulder joint would be above where my chest is, and that can lead to some injuries. So yeah. Alright, so moving on to accessories. We're doing dumbbell row for a set of 8, and this is my third set. I didn't record all the accessories because I mean it's kind of boring, honestly. But for this program, it's like a lot less volume than I'm used to doing, but there's more frequency, so the sets are just spread out over more days. Frequency is typically better because you got more energy for each workout. So if you normally do like 24 sets for your back per week and you do it all in one session, the last like half of the workout's gonna be terrible in terms of effectiveness because you're gonna be so tired. But if you split that up across like 3 days or something, you're gonna have more energy for each set. So frequency is typically the way you'd want to go. Alright, so here is my final set for the dumbbell row. I'm using the 90s. Again, the form is kind of sloppy because I was just getting lazy. But this was a set of 6, so it's meant to be kind of heavy. And I'm kind of focusing on having my elbow out like at more of a 45-degree angle or closer to it, because I'm trying to build up my traps a lot more than my lats. So in general, when you're doing a row, if you hug your elbow like to your body as close as possible, it's going to target your lats more, and the more angled out your arm is or your elbow is at like a 45-degree angle, it's going to target your traps because that's the way that the muscle fibers run. So alright, next accessory movement, we're doing dumbbell overhead press. So this is going to target our shoulders, and so this was a set of 12 with 30s, I believe. Yeah, 30-pound dumbbells. So the rep scheme is going to go 12, 12, 10, 8. And yeah, I don't really like fully locking out my elbows at the top of this because I find myself losing tension in my shoulders. So yeah, I go like 85% to the lockout on those, especially if it's higher reps. Alright, so second set of 12, I'm using 35s. So when the reps start to decrease as the set goes on, typically you'd want to increase the weight a little bit. That's the whole point of a pyramid set, because you're building up like a pyramid to heavier weight for greater stimulus on your muscles to grow. Alright, so on my next set of 10 now, reps are decreasing, so this is the third set. I believe these are 45s, I want to say. Yeah, 45s. So this was kind of hard. Typically when you do a shoulder exercise after you bench, your shoulders are going to be super tired from stabilizing your body so that you're not sliding off the bench when you're using your leg drive. So mine were pretty fatigued. That combined with me barely eating yesterday didn't really help, but yeah, we made it work. Alright, so for this last set of 8, try out the 55s. This is like, I think this is the heaviest I've ever gone on this. So I think this matches my PR. It looks like a pretty clean set of 8 to me. I go down to at least my arms being like perpendicular to the ground. And yeah, I actually went full lockout on these two. Kind of gives you a little bit of a rest. You could call it cheating, whatever you want, but I moved the weight. So yeah, I also busted out the belt for that one. So guys, I probably should mention this, but you want to have your scapula retracted even in the shoulder press too, because that just puts your shoulders in a better position once again. And as you can see here, before I do my first rep, or if I go all the way at the bottom, like right here, see a stretch, and then I briefly retract and depress my scapula, and then I do the pull-up right there. Retract and depress, and yeah, shortens the range of motion a little bit too, so it makes it a little bit easier on pull-ups. So this was a set of 10. 2 sets I did before that. I did on the assisted one, and it's because it was 2 sets of 12, and I like using the assisted sometimes because, especially if I'm this far into the workout and I'm fatigued, you want your reps to be effective, So if they're just like sloppy partial reps, it's kind of pointless, honestly. So I'd rather use the assisted and get some clean reps and a nice contraction at the top. Alright, so for this last set of 8 reps, it was a bit of a struggle. The reps were, they could have been cleaner. Like I said earlier, you want effective reps. So I would say the last, 3 reps were not really all that effective. Because I wasn't controlling the eccentric, and I wasn't really going up as far as I probably could have. But take a look at my thumbs when I do these. So towards the end of the set, I put them back around the bar, but I try to keep my thumbs on any back movement, it's called a suicide grip, when you put it on your index finger. So you're basically taking it out of the picture, and what that does is it deactivates your biceps a lot. So you're essentially using your hands as hooks. So you're not actually gripping the bar really. And straps helps with that too. So you're focusing on the direction your elbows are moving rather than focusing on just pulling up and using your forearms and your biceps. So yeah, helps build that mind muscle connection talked about in an earlier video with your back muscles. Alright, so for the final optional accessory movement, so all the other ones were mandatory, but this one's optional. Doing lateral raises. So a lot of people go too heavy on these. I'm literally only using 15s, and I could have used 10s the whole set. I used 10s for the first 2 sets and 15s for this set. So pay attention to my elbows and notice how they are above the weight. You want to drive, so by doing that, what you're doing is driving outwards. So think about leading with your elbows, and that's going to target your lateral head pretty well. Most people will have the dumbbell above their elbows, and that actually is going to help. It's going to make your front delts take over a little bit. So if you focus on leading with your elbows and going out rather than up, then it should help develop that lateral head a little bit better. Alright, so I'm going to try and upload at least once a week. So since school's starting back up, my work hours has decreased a little bit. So technically I have a little bit of time, and I'm not doing a sport in the fall either, so I do have some extra time on my hand. So I'm going to try to do at least one video per week, probably voiceovers with tips, informational. But if you guys want a vlog or something, Dave eating, I don't know, whatever you want, comment down below. Yeah, so that's going to do it for this video, guys. Hope you liked it. Share it with a friend, and yeah, see you later.